They live essentially two separate lives, have mental health issues as a result of it, and the school feels like it's appropriate to hide that from parents, as if parents can't possibly be trusted with that information, or as if parents don't deserve to know that their child is having a serious identity crisis. This segment is brought to you by Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. I'm down 37 pounds on the program, and I lost most of that in just 2 months. Do what I did and what so many other undivided viewers have done. Schedule your free 15-minute consultation today at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. It may come as no surprise to you that on the day the Parental Rights Initiative takes effect, remember ACLU tried to block it, wasn't successful. Even the Democrats voted unanimously in the state Senate to pass the Parental Rights Initiative. So we're thinking, okay, we get past the ACLU challenge to stop it in its tracks. That doesn't work, so it takes effect today. I'm thinking, great day for parents. Unless you have a child in the public school system. Because Superintendent of Public Instruction, Kruse, has no intention of abiding by this new law. No intention in the world. He made that very clear when he put out a statement saying that he believes the new law is flawed and that it flies in the face of student privacy rights. So he waits all this time, as this is being debated in Olympia and all these things, gets past the ACLU challenge, and now he says, I know it takes effect today, but we're not going to follow it in our public school system, essentially. His statement said some of these records contain personal information and are protected under the Federal Education Rights and Privacy Act and the Health Insurance HIPAA, and as such cannot be disclosed without the student's consent. I want to be clear, this initiative did not change, reduce, or diminish student privacy rights in Washington state. There is no question that students are best supported when their families are actively involved in their education. But if a student does not feel safe coming out to their family and they turn to a trusted adult at their school for support, they have a right to receive that support without fear of being outed by their school. He said our state's guidance has maintained that in order to protect student privacy and safety, schools should communicate with students who disclose they are transgender or gender expansive, about the student's individual needs, preferences, and safety concerns. It is the student's decision when and if their gender identity is shared and with whom. So this entire statement is about gender identity of students. And that, frankly, has been one of the fundamental concerns from parents who don't want the state hiding information from them, who don't want the school hiding information from them. It has to do with kids who are one kid at home using their birth name and their birth gender, and then they go to school and they use a different name that the teachers call them, that the staff call them, that students call them. They say they're a different gender. And they live essentially two separate lives, have mental health issues as a result of it, and the school feels like it's appropriate to hide that from parents, as if parents can't possibly be trusted with that information, or as if parents don't deserve to know that their child is having a serious identity crisis. And one of the reasons we push for the Parental Rights Initiative, and, Kruse acts like, oh, we can't out students to their parents if they're transgender. We're not going to do that. But we know what the policies at OSPI around that issue. They say that's protected health information. How is believing you're a different gender than the one you were born in protected health information? You're talking about like a kid who maybe has gone through no medical intervention. They show up at school and say, it's a girl. I'm a boy and I want to be called Tommy. And you're telling me that's protected by HIPAA from a parent? Like, no, thank you. No, it's not. And we know what those policies have resulted in. Secretive relationships between teachers and staff and minor children. We reported exclusively about a year ago on the most egregious example of that we've seen. That was a teacher in the Olympia School District who entered into a secret communication relationship with a child because the child felt they were transgender. And the teacher urged the child, make sure this email's deleted so when we're done talking, otherwise when your mom looks, you'll be outed instantly. offered to the kid, I would take you into my own home anytime you need. Started harassing, emailing the kid over and over when the kid didn't respond. I kept emailing you. I was worried your mom interfered before you saw my messages. So here you have just one example that we found out about of a teacher who abuses those policies to engage in a secretive relationship with a child, so much so that they're directing the child, a minor child, to delete their communications so that the parent won't find out. Well, when the parent did find out, they were so understandably freaked out by the creepiness of that not only did they take their child out of the school district, but they moved back to the country they came from, the country they immigrated from. They came to America for a better life, and then they came to Washington and realized, well, that's crazy. Our kids aren't safe here. So they went back to the country they immigrated from. That's how bad these policies have been. That's why parents pushed for a parental bill of rights, which became law today, in which the Superintendent of Public Instruction is now saying he will not abide by. He's saying, well, we need to let this run its course. There's still the existing ACLU lawsuit. The judge didn't block the law, on an emergency basis from taking effect, but the lawsuit will proceed forward. And so I don't know, he's hoping that he's going to get more clarification from that. So you're just not going to follow the law blatantly as a public official. You're not going to follow the law until the court case is done? Can he do that? Can you do that? I don't think he can do that. I don't think you can say, I'm not going to follow this law that took effect legally, lawfully, that voters pushed for, that the legislature approved. I'm not going to follow it until the ACLU is done challenging it. I'm not sure you can do that. That is wild stuff.